CompTIA A Core 2 Complete Training Course. Exam Objective 2.9 Given a scenario, configure appropriate security settings on small office, home office, wireless, and wired networks. Wireless settings. Whether you are setting up and configuring an access point, a wireless router, or a SOHO router, there are common tasks that should be performed to maintain the security of your wireless network. And this list can be extensive. But for now, we will be focusing on just a few configuration settings. For starters, let's focus on changing the SSID and disabling SSID broadcast. I will assume for a moment that you are unfamiliar with the term SSID and will therefore explain what it is. The term SSID stands for Service Set Identifier. The SSID is a unique alphanumeric identifier given to a wireless local area network. The SSID serves as the name or label for the network, allowing devices like computers, smartphones, and other Wi-Fi-enabled devices to recognize and connect to it. The SSID is essential because it helps devices identify and connect to the correct wireless network. When you want to join a Wi-Fi network, you select its SSID from a list, like the one behind me. Look familiar? Now that you know what an SSID is, why should you change it when setting up and configuring a new wireless network device? Changing the SSID when first configuring a wireless device is a security best practice that is designed to enhance the overall security of your network. Most routers come with default SSIDs set by the manufacturer. These default names are often well known and can be easily identified. Malicious actors might use this information to specifically target networks with default settings for potential attacks. In addition to changing the default SSID, you should also consider whether or not to disable SSID broadcast. Disabling SSID broadcast means your network's name won't appear when nearby devices scan for available Wi-Fi. This can be beneficial as it adds a layer of obscurity to your network, making it less visible to casual users or potential attackers who might target easily detectable networks. It's a simple way to enhance security by keeping your network under the radar. However, disabling SSID broadcast can also be inconvenient. Devices won't automatically detect your network, so you'll have to manually configure each device with the network name, which can be time-consuming, especially if you have multiple devices. Additionally, this won't stop more sophisticated attackers who use tools to discover hidden networks. So while disabling SSID broadcast may give you a bit of extra peace of mind, it's not a foolproof solution and should be combined with other security measures like strong encryption. Speaking of encryption, when configuring a wireless network device, you will be presented with a very important security option. And that is whether or not you want to encrypt your wireless network. Now, before you jump right in and say, "Of course I want to encrypt," I will cover a few cases where you might want to leave your wireless network unencrypted. Leaving your wireless network unencrypted, or having what is called open authentication, allows unrestricted access to the network without requiring a password or authentication credentials. This can be useful in public spaces or guest environments to offer convenient and seamless internet access to a wide range of users. A perfect example would be a popular coffee shop in the heart of the city. With an open authentication wireless network in place, customers can easily connect to the internet without the need for a password or any authentication process. This makes it hassle-free for patrons to use their laptops, smartphones, or tablets. In doing so, users do need to be aware that they are responsible for their own data security while using the open network. Using an unencrypted wireless network is risky due to lack of password security protocols. Without encryption, information on the network can be seen by others. So try not to log into your bank account while connected to one of these networks. Since we have covered the unencrypted option, let's switch over to encrypted networks. We will be covering 4 key encryption standards: WEP, WPA, WPA2, and WPA3. Now, as I briefly work my way through these 4 wireless encryption standards, use the table behind me to keep yourself organized. I will start at the top and work my way down. First up, we have WEP, or Wired Equivalent Privacy. This is the oldest and weakest of the encryption standards. WEP used an RC4 encryption mechanism, which had some serious security flaws and could be easily cracked by determined hackers. so it's best to avoid using WEP and opt for a more secure option. Next, we have WPA, or Wi-Fi Protected Access. WPA was an improvement over WEP and offered better security. It used a more robust encryption mechanism known as TKIP. This made it a bit harder for attackers to break into your network. However, like WEP, WPA is also considered outdated and not the best choice for modern Wi-Fi security. Moving on to WPA2, or Wi-Fi Protected Access 2. This is a more modern standard for securing Wi-Fi networks and has been widely used for years. WPA2 uses a stronger encryption mechanism known as AES. AES is highly secure and much more difficult for attackers to crack. If you have a relatively new router, it will likely support WPA2. And now for the latest encryption standard, WPA3. WPA3 is the most advanced wireless encryption standard to date. WPA3 builds on the strengths of WPA2 and adds even more security features, such as the SAE encryption mechanism. WPA3 is currently the gold standard for Wi-Fi security, and if your wireless network device supports it, it is the best choice for keeping your network safe. After discussing encryption, there's another important setting that often gets overlooked but plays a crucial role in protecting your network. And that is whether or not to allow guest access. Many routers offer a guest network option, which might seem like a friendly feature to allow visitors to use your Wi-Fi without giving them access to your main network. However, from a security perspective, leaving guest access enabled can open up vulnerabilities if not properly managed. Guest networks often have weaker security settings, and someone with malicious intent could exploit this open door to attempt attacks on your primary network or even on connected devices. By disabling guest access, you ensure that only devices with proper credentials can access your network, adding another layer of security. Now, if you do need to provide internet access to visitors, consider setting up a secure guest network with a strong password that you update regularly. This way, you still maintain control without sacrificing security for convenience. But what if you've got the security features all set up and you're still dealing with performance issues? That brings us to another important aspect of configuring a wireless network. And that is channel selection. Imagine tuning into a radio station, where each station is set to a specific frequency for clear reception. Similarly, in wireless networking, a wireless frequency channel is a designated band of frequencies used for transmitting and receiving data, each separated in order to prevent interference and ensure smooth communications. By changing the wireless channel to a less crowded one, you can improve your network's performance. For example, channels 1, 6, and 11 are usually the best options in the 2.4 GHz range because they don't overlap. If you're using a router that operates in the 5 GHz frequency range, you'll have even more channel options with less interference. Using network scanning tools can help you determine which channels are the least crowded in your area, allowing you to switch to a clearer channel and boost your Wi-Fi performance. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more great content.